It would have been, and you know what? I think in every goal that we strive to achieve, there comes a point in our life where we have to decide: are we going to push forward or are we going to quit? And I think quitting can always be easy, but it's not necessarily the right thing to do.
Right.
You know, and moving forward is always more difficult, I think, than quitting.
Right.
It's always easier for us to go back to our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pushing ourselves out of the comfort zone and moving forward is always tremendously more difficult. And fortunately, that's what we did. We had no idea how this thing was going to work out.
Oh yeah.
We just knew though that here was an opportunity, and I read somewhere a while back that opportunity always turn up in work clothes.
In work clothes.
It turns up in work
yeah,
clothes. So,
yeah.
you know, you have an opportunity and people are praying every day, Lord, I need an opportunity. And they expect it to come nicely dressed as you are.
That's a good point.
You know, but how it comes is in work boots and jeans and tattered t-shirt. Right. And you have to put it to work. So it's an opportunity for you to start growing and developing yourself to get to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, we chose the more difficult route, and it was difficult. But
it clearly.
I traded into the work clothes in this instance in a way for the nice suit now.
Right, yes, you look great. Yeah, casual or not today. I mean, take it easy today, but I'm sure you've had your day in the light and continue to, and that's tremendous. Yes, it takes so much to think through all those steps. The other big deal, of course, would be the other three guys there with you. It was four y'all.
Yes.
It's always four in a bobsled environment. There is a captain.
Pretty much. There are actually two kinds of bobsleds. There is the two-man sled and the four-man sled. But you're right. There were four of us.
How about the other three guys? What were going through their mind? I mean, clearly, again, you're in your early 20s. Were they all about the same age and all with similar backgrounds, or no? Yeah.
You know, three of us were Army and one civilian, one lone civilian, and it's really interesting because we didn't have these long discussions and considered all the ramifications. We just, and maybe that's part of the zeal of youth, you know, absence of the wisdom of maturity. You know, we just said, well, we're here.
Right.
Let's go. Let's do it. You know, we can tough it out.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Well, it's good that you all almost, I mean, that's kind of a positive commitment to George. He got you there. He got the ball rolling. You said George Finch.
George Finch, yeah.
I mean, so he surely wanted it to happen, and obviously losing a lot of money there on Black Monday or Black Friday, whatever it was. I mean, clearly for him, he wanted to see it to the end, but ultimately, you got to get the ball rolling somehow.
Yeah, and I look back now and I realize, obviously, had we chosen to go back to Jamaica and wait, we would still be waiting for a Jamaican bobsled team. Because this whole issue of corporate sponsorship has never been easy for us. And we have had to, in some way, shape, or form, repeat the experiences of '88 over and over again to go to the Olympic Games.
92 and 98 as well. You continued to bootstring it. Yeah.
Oh, big time. But I'm here. I'm a three-time Olympian, despite all those challenges. You know, and so that's really part of the lesson, and one of the things I try to tell everybody that I meet. Certainly on the speaking tour, when I speak to corporations and associations and whoever the audience is, that you don't give up. You don't give up. There's always a way to win, and your job is to find it.
DevonHarrisLive.com. DevonHarrisLive.com. A
That's
lot of great information there. The other great thing is it highlights a lot of the folks you've spoken to, both large groups like the HTC Real Kids group and very large companies, cities that have brought you in, major companies worldwide. So
I've been fortunate.
You're on the road a good bit. Do you take your family on the road with you often, or you just want to
not
hurry
much,
back to New York?
I'm a one-man show. No, I get to very rarely take my family. The kids are in school. My wife works, and so I do these trips, and I really, you're right. I hurry back home. I'm a homebody.
Yeah,
and
that's
I be
great.
home.
What is a typical day like for you if you're not out speaking? What is a typical day like? And I guess that ties into a typical day, because you're on the road a good bit and sharing the word.
You know, so at home I wake up early. I'm out of the bed by 6, and you know, I do a little workout. Nothing like when I was trying to get to the
Nothing like 20 years ago. Yeah.
Nothing like when I was working to go to the Olympic Games.
Right.
So I work out. I read. You know, I read every morning. And then I get the ball rolling. I start, you know, answering some emails, and
sure.
There's always something to write, whether it's a newsletter or
oh yes, we want to talk about your newsletter, yeah.
You know, or working on a new book, and I write really slowly, so that's part of my problem. I need to figure that one out. You know, helping the kids out the house to school, and then, you know, every day, there's no 2 day that's the same, which is what I love about my life.
No
so, you know,
2 days are alike.
Yeah, so I may end up having to go to a game for one of them. You know, I have 4 kids. Well, one is a baby. So she has my attention. Definitely.
Oh yeah, how old is she?
She's 2 years old now.
2? You've got from 2 to 18.
Oh yeah,
wow.
Man. I've been working at boy. I tell you. But yeah, so keep me busy and keep me young. You know, I'm home rolling around. You know, my oldest son is 18, and I guess it's a rite of passage. He wants to beat up his dad. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we're always wrestling.
He's taking you on, I'm sure.
I know. That's what it is. Always wrestling. And,
right.
And you know, a couple of years ago, you know, I could take him really easily. Now I could just use brute force, right? Now I have to use the smarts as well. The brute strength doesn't work.
He's getting bigger.
He's getting bigger. He's getting stronger.
You know, there's so much that I tell you, the newsletter, whether it's weekly or monthly or however you set up the newsletter there, has got some great information there on your website. But I saw some of those themes. Of course, some of them, what holds people back, or here's one against all odds. A lot of great themes. Are those things that come across in your book as well? Share with viewers a little bit about, Yes, I Can, the motivational book you did.
The book, you know, first of all, I wrote the book, you know, because I speak a lot to kids, and many of them have seen the movie Cool Runnings, and they have all these questions about the movie.
Oh yeah.
And they discover, as they're asking me the questions and I'm answering honestly, that most of the facts are skewed or simply not true.
From the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. They still love the movie.
Yeah, poor kids. I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for them. So I thought, one, I'd write the book to set the record straight. And secondly, though, more importantly, one of the things I've noticed, generally speaking, is that these kids suffer from low self-confidence, low self-esteem. And
really?
So I find that to be the case, generally speaking. So I wanted to tell our story and hopefully an entertaining way that would get them to think about the challenges that they're facing in their lives and going to go pursue their goals and go, you know, if those guys can do it, I can do it as well. You know, hopefully boost their self-esteem that way. So the story is about the original team and the challenges, the obvious challenges we face being from Jamaica with no snow and ice, knowing absolutely nothing about the sport. And if that wasn't bad enough, you know, we're now in the month of September and the Olympics are in Calgary in February.
A few months later.
How do you bridge this gap? And so having painted this dilemma for the kids in the book, it went on to say that, you know, the 4 of us just joined hands and heart and say, yes, I can. And that's the message that I really want to put forth to these kids, that it doesn't matter what the obstacles, and very factual things, that like us not knowing anything about the sport, having a short time and without the facilities, but if you start looking for ways to succeed, you'll find it. And that's what we did. And you know, we didn't get success simply because we said yes I can at the outset. We still had several mountains and valleys, you know, to go through. But so the book takes us through that roller coaster of challenges and obstacles to us getting to the Olympic Games. And here's the difference with, I think, Yes I Can and most other children's books. Most of those other books will tell kids, oh yeah, if you work really hard, you know, somehow something magically will happen and you'll live happily ever after.
Right.
And our story ends with us crashing spectacularly in the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
So we failed, in essence. But I go on to say, well, there's a lesson to be learned here. Success isn't always in the final results you earn. Because if you take a look at our journey, 3 months prior we knew nothing about bobsledding.
Right.
And now here we are, the Olympic Games, the highest level of international competition,
Right.
coming off the hill with a 7th fastest start time.
Right.
And that's success.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And inspiring people and that
Right.
kind of stuff. And so I challenge them, and I kind of morph the story back to something that's very important to me, and that's having a good education.
Yes.
And so I say, look, even if you don't stay in school, because learning in school,
Sure.
it rhymes actually. And I said, even if you haven't done well on your test, be contented in knowing you did your very best.
Right.
And that's something, an important lesson for all of us, I think, to learn,
yeah.
because we're so good at beating ourselves up for missing the mark. And one of the things that we all need to learn, myself included, is to take a step back and go and look at the progress, look at what you've learned,
Right.
you know, where you've come and who have you inspired, who have you touched and encouraged along the way. And so that's a book. And
I
more
love
than
it.
a
Well, we
mouthful.
want to talk still
Yeah.
a little more about the book, but also the Keep on Pushing Foundation and Right to Play. We've run out of time. Would you be willing to come back and be with us a little bit tomorrow?
Man, I'd love to hang out with you sometime.
I love it. Devon.
All right.
Absolutely. Just 1 second. Stay tuned. A little more Devon Harris coming up next. You heard him say it whenever he speaks. Kids just want to know about little things from Cool Runnings, the amazing movie highlighting the 88 Jamaican bobsled team. But a lot of those kids want to ask Devon questions about himself. They want to spend time with him. They want to get to know him. How did he get out of that abject poverty and to where he is today, to such a successful motivational speaker? If you didn't get a lot of that the last 25 minutes, you can get a little bit of it tomorrow. Come back for part 2 of Devon Harris tomorrow on Carolina People. Devon, thanks again for coming back.
Great to be here.